creating a new identity for myself, leaving the Black conscious community and the Black community, part 2. I'm Queen with Soft Eye Boutique. Thank you all so much for the engagement on the first post that I did regarding creating a new identity for myself after leaving not only the Black conscious community, but just being very Black community minded pretty much all my life. So I didn't realize that the last video got cut off, but obviously it got cut off for a reason. So the thing about this is a lot of things I had to work to undo. Epigenetics is real. This is not something that I'm going to go back and forth with and argue with anybody about regarding the science and the truth of epigenetics and how I was essentially programmed to go down that negative path. And it's a lot. You know, I'm really getting emotional right now because I was on a call this morning and I didn't realize how much fear was implanted inside of me on a cellular, molecular level. And that is what the Black conscious community and the community in and of itself essentially does is it creates more embedded codes and subliminal messages of fear and struggle and lack within your DNA. Because now that I'm doing things, the best example that I can give you all is, if you've been following this page, I am a licensed attorney. I cannot hide that. It is what it is. And so when you are a Black attorney and a Black female attorney at that, you really do not have any anonymity. So I have never gone against another Black person. Like, I've never had opposing counsel to be another Black person in my private practice. Now, when I was a public defender, yes, there were Black prosecutors, but I'm talking about in my private practice, I have never gone against another Black person. So straight out the gate, I have gone against old white men, or just Caucasian women who want to be a part of the good old boys club. But there's one exception. I did have a wonderful experience with this older Caucasian lady, but she really wasn't Caucasian because I saw her last name and I immediately could tell that it was Italian. And depending on where you're from in Italy, they not really white. So I actually asked her about it, and she told me the truth. So I had a wonderful experience with her. So that is something that I really hold on to, that experience. And that is actually fuel that keeps me going, knowing that there are attorneys out there like her and myself. But saying all this to say, I go against old white men all the time. And it's going to court in and of itself, that is scary. If somebody is telling you that they go to court and they're not afraid, they're either on alcohol or drugs. It is what it is, because you're always going to have that type of fear going into a particular case, whether it's a routine hearing, whether it's trial, whatever it is, it's always some type of fear going in that you just have to move through. So a lot of these guys, these Caucasian men that I go up against, I'm realizing, and I'm thankful that I realized it early on, that they just been skating by, and they really don't expect people to file anything back. So a lot of times I will read these pleadings and I'm like, if I were to do that, if I were to file something in court like that, immediately that case probably would get dismissed, probably as soon as I press click to file. Okay. So this is this type of shoddy and horrible work that I'm dealing with from a lot of prestigious places, or people just saying ridiculous things and thinking that I won't tell them something back. Like, I am going to tell them something back. This is not how this goes. And so I I didn't realize how prior to breaking free from the conscious community, I never would have had the bravery to do that. I wouldn't have had the bravery to even go to law school, to be honest. But there still is fear, because that underlying fear is that, I hate to even say the imposter syndrome, because that really don't apply to Black people, because that racism and sexism and all of that is there. So basically, it's like I have a fear that I'm not doing things right, when clearly I am. Clearly I am doing things the correct way. And so I just kind of go off of that a lot, and just really working to deprogram that from my mind. And it's a daily process. It's something that I really have to feed myself every day, working with God to, just really starting to get prayerful and getting deep into prayer. And it's not easy, especially as somebody who didn't really grow up praying like that, getting used to the process of praying. So that is one of the biggest things that I've seen thus far, just in my short time being an attorney, and how I've had to, thankfully, just keeping grasp of my mind and taking hold of my mind, and like really sitting down and realizing, like, I can do this. I'm literally doing this as an attorney. Like, I'm really filing things. Like, people think the whole criminal and all that, but the civil process is a whole different beast, y'all. Civil law is a whole different beast. It's a lot of filing. It's a lot of things. Yeah, I can work on my grammar. It is what it is when it comes to that. But as far as the substantive law, I'm really doing it. Also, too, food. So another thing that I had to do to really sit down and think about just nutritious facts and nutrients, and how my body feels when I eat certain things, certain foods that I prohibited myself from eating, and that I used to talk about other people for eating, even though I grew up eating those things. And now I know that was really mean. That's really mean. And it's a real big sign of insecurity. Because if you are solidified in whatever your faith, culture, beliefs, and all of this are, and you have certain dietary restrictions, it shouldn't matter what somebody else is eating. Unless they're coming into your house or something like that, with it. But it shouldn't matter. Also, another thing that I realized was beauty. Number 3. Beauty. Okay, so I have always been attractive and beautiful. People can clearly see that through this veil, because people have x-ray vision. But the inner beauty that I have has become more pronounced since I have left the conscious community. Especially like the whole 4C hair thing, because it is what it is. I have 4C hair. Our hair grows best when it's straight. Now, you don't necessarily have to put like chemical relaxers or anything like that, but because our hair is so kinky and coily, and I'm not a licensed cosmetologist or anything like that, but our hair does grow better when it is straightened, because it's not coiling in and of itself, and so it's not creating those knots, and you'll be able to trim it and do all of that. So once I really started to go to not only a licensed cosmetologist, but a trichologist as well, and getting my hair straightened, My hair is just so beautiful. It's still 4C, but if I showed y'all some pictures of when I was in the conscious community, or even when I had locks, and that's probably, and I'm gonna have to do a separate video on why I will probably never go back to locks. But yeah, it's just so different. And the people who do see my hair, they're just like, oh my God, like your hair is so beautiful. And, yeah, y'all, it's just something that I can't even explain. So I forgot which number I was on. So I'm gonna try to go back in this video and go through it. But let's see what else has changed. My identity has changed. So I am no longer, like, I have less of a tolerance for a lot of things. I don't even necessarily put myself in a lot of situations, because when you're in a Black conscious community, what they don't tell you is you're always putting yourself, subconsciously, you're always putting yourself and placing yourself in situations to where you can be done wrong by the man or by the system. Because why would you claim to hate the system and hate the government, but you are having all these children, you can't afford it because he's probably like selling perfumes, oils, incense, and onks and all of that. So you down at the WIC office, you down getting SNAP and all of this type of stuff. So it puts you in certain situations. I never been through those situations, but I was always in situations to where I was literally like it was just crazy. It was just crazy. So now, I mean, as an attorney, I don't really, I'm just going to be around, so-called races and around the system and all of that. But I just have to do what I have to do as far as filing the pleadings and making sure everything is correct. So other than that, that's part 2. So like, this is going to be a series, seriously, because I am undoing so much, y'all. And it is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak of heart. It is something that I just do not want you all to go through, because I haven't, besides myself, the only other person that I have seen talk about things like this, and she is wealthy, is Dr. Portia Fulford. I think she's out of Alabama. So definitely, if you can start looking her up on YouTube and Facebook. I know her Facebook has more of a stronger funnel than her YouTube. But not a lot of Black women are talking about escaping the conscious community with their mind intact and with their finances intact. It's real, y'all. And, I get trolls commenting on my page, but it's okay. Every time somebody comments on my page, like, I do understand the science of the algorithms, even if they're even if they're trolling, even if they want to bring in their, religious beliefs and all those things like that. It's still boosting my video so I can get out to y'all more. So I want you all to really take heed of what I'm saying. Also, before I end, I want you to really know in your heart that not being a part of the conscious community, not being woke, not being down for the cause, down for just the community in and of itself, because, the regular people in the suburbs or the projects or the hood and all of that, they're not necessarily in the Black conscious community, but they have that blind loyalty to the community. I don't want you ladies to feel like you're going to be a sellout or a coon or a Sambo, or like you're going to be a swirler or something like that. That is not the case. It's really not the case. And so I definitely just want the best for all of you, because I want the best for myself in this. And we're going to go even deeper into this, because there's some things I can tell y'all about these women. in this conscious community that is going to blow your mind. They are not community mothers. They are not community aunties and all of this familial language and royal titles that they are giving themselves. They're essentially madams. Okay, so like they're not, well, some of them straight up are involved in human sex trafficking, especially a part of the group that I was a part of, and I found that out, and it kind of wasn't a big deal to them. So yeah, but it's essentially, they're essentially madams. They're introducing you into a lifestyle that is going to be detrimental to your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, and your finances. So like I said, this is definitely going to be a series. So stay tuned. If you definitely need to reach out, talk one-on-one, we can schedule a time to help heal your mind and clear your mind. Comment below, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I just be having so many spiders in my apartment. Like, it's just crazy, and I just killed it. So I read like some facts somewhere that like no matter where we are, we're like always, like there's always a spider like 6 feet away from us. I don't know if that's real, but I heard that somewhere. But that was just totally random. But Queen with Soft Eye Boutique.